وثلاثين ابنة لبون. And when a person has 36 camels, so the conversion went from what? It went from 10. That was the number. Pay attention to the jump. We started off with 5. 5 to 25. All of that is nothing but what? Sheep. 25 and above is what? Ibnatu makhad or ibnu labun. A young female camel which is at least a year old, a year and a half. Between, it's in its second year. Or ibnu labun. A boy camel, a male camel which is 2 years old in its third year. Then it goes from 25 to what? 36. So the conversion number will be what? 10. The leaping number will be what? 10. So it went from 555 to 10, 10, 10. Once you have 36 camels, he says, Ibnatu labunin. You must give a female camel once more, which is Ibnatu labun, and not Ibnatu makhad, which means the girl camel is 2 years old, going on 3. 2 words that we use. The first one was makhad. Someone cut that off, please. And the second was labun. Makhad and labun. Makhad and labun. Makhad meaning pains of pregnancy, and labun meaning full of milk. We explained this. We're not going to explain it again. If you missed out, you have to go back to the recordings. Tayyib. What we're dealing with right now is the age. The age. All right? Reviewing the notes cannot be done in the class. It has to be done at home. You have to review that at home, because now you're reviewing what you're missing information that's being passed out now. So therefore, we said that if a person has 25 camels, he's now on 26 camels, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, even 35. He has to do what now? He has to give one or two things. He has the option. Ibnatu makhad or ibnu labun. Ibnatu makhad, he says, is what? How old? 1 year. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 months. It's in its second year. Or a male camel, which is called ibn labun. That is at least what? 2 years old, that is entered into the third year. Once you have 36 camels, then he says, Ibnatu labunin. A female that is of at least 2 years old, going into its third year. وَفِي سِتٍ وَأَرْبَعِينَ. And if you have 46 camels, the jump once more was how many? 10. 10. He says, hiqqah. A new type of zakat is due, which is called a hiqqah. Ha, qaf, ta, hiqqah. And the hiqqah, it says, هي التي أتت عليها 3 سنين ودخلت في الرابعة. That's the female camel that's 3 years old and has entered into its 4th year. It has entered into its what? 4th year. It's very simple. Makhad, labun, hiqqah. Regardless of the gender, male or female. Al-Muhim, makhad is for how old? 1 year, at least. Is entered into its 2nd year. Labun is what? 2 years. Entered into its hiqqah. It's completed 3 years and it's entered into its what? 4th year. It says here, سميت بذلك لأنها استحقت أن تركب ويحمل عليها. It is called a hiqqah based off of haqq. The language is connected to the culture is connected to the language, connected to the sharia. The hiqqah is the camel that has a haqq to be, he says, يحمل. He says what? هي التي تركب ويحمل عليها. It can be, one can ride on that camel and place heavy things on that camel's back. Meaning that the camel is too young and too small, it's unsuited to be what? Rode or ridden upon. It is not a carrying camel, it's too young, its back is not strong enough yet. So the hiqqah is the female camel which is now can do what? And it can be used as a riding beast. So it's 3 years going into its what? 4th year. So how many months can it be? 36 months 37 months, 38 months, 39 months, 40 months old, 40 months old, وهكذا. He says, وَفِي إِحْدَى وَسِتِّينَ جَذَعَةٌ. Pay attention to the jump. It's going to jump down into 61. So it's a big jump from what? He says, sittin wa arba'in, 46 to 61. What's the number now in this jump? 46 to 61 is how much? Huh? Where's your math? So that's the jump. It's not always 5, 5 or 10, 10. So if you have a farm and if you haven't memorized it yet, you don't have a student of knowledge or a scholar close by, or you yourself haven't memorized it, then you just look at the chart. And you document how many camels you have. This one was born, this one was died, this one kada, they multiply, وهكذا. Naam? He says, وَفِي إِحْدَى وَسِتِّينَ جَذَعَةٌ. And when you have 61 camels, that's a lot of camels, by the way. You may look at this number as a small number. To have 61 animals, that's a huge farm. And you're talking about a camel is a huge animal. That's a lot of what? Animals. You're considered to be wealthy to have 61 camels. Huh? He says here to have 60 camels, you now must give a jada'ah. That's what you pay in zakah. And in jada'ah, it says, هي التي عليها 4 سنين ودخلت في الخامسة والذكر يقال له جذع. And the jada'ah, he says it's female. He didn't say male. It says jada'atun. And that's going to be an issue later on when you can and cannot give a male in place of a female. And obviously the female oftentimes has more value than the male, whereas the female gives milk and the female reproduces. And the male sometimes may have a better value or higher value because the male does what? It's the stud. It's the thing which mates. You can have 1,000 females and you can't do anything unless you have a what? A male. Everyone understand this? He says the jada'ah, and in the footnotes it says the jada'ah is the camel, the female camel, which is 4 years old. And it has now entered into the 5th year. 5th year. And the male is called the jada'ah. Moving forward. وَفِي سِتٍ وَسَبْعِينَ بِنْتَ لَبُونٍ. And when you have 70, oh, he says 76 camels down. So it went from how many? It went from what? 61 to? What was the jump? 15. طيب. Now you give how many camels? 2. 2 female camels, which are binta laboon. And the bint laboon is how old? Enter into its 3rd year. Everybody clear on this? Now you give 2 girl camels now, 2 baby camels. وفي 91 حقتان إلى 120. And when you have 92 or 91, he says 91, 91 to 120, there's 2 hiqqas that you have to give. And the hiqqa is how old?
36 months.
It's going into the 4th year. The hiqqa is going into what? Into the 4th year. طيب. So the conversion, last but not least, he says, فَإِذَا زَادَتْ فَفِي كُلِّ 40 إِبْنَةُ لَبُونٍ وَفِي كُلِّ 50 حِقَّةٌ. So if you have more than 120 camels, then every 40 camels, ibnatu labun is due. Ibnatu labun. He says, in every 50 additional camels, then there's a what due? Hiqqa. You understand this? So this goes to show you that to have this down packed, you have to have what? Hifd. You got to memorize it. And if you can't memorize it yourself, then at least have a what? How much is due. Obviously, the muzakki, the one who comes collecting the zakah, he's going to have this either memorized by heart or he's going to have the chart, a converter. It's like they come and check your electricity or your water or your whatever. They have, all right, with the sound effects. Huh, Islam? This is what you owe. Everyone understand this? Clear on this or not? Tayyib. But what if you live in a place in which zakah is not collected? Unfortunately, in many countries like that today, people don't collect zakah, in which you have to pay the zakah yourself. So you have to keep track of what you have. You have to keep track of what? Of what you have. Everyone understand this? There are conversions, alhamdulillah, in English and in Arabic. There are charts. We've explained them before. Fiqh Made Easy. Sheikh Sadlan has the chart in it in English. We explained that. And other books as well, if you want to look at an actual what? A chart, a converter chart. Huh? Simple, easy. All right, so that's the case of animals. So if a person has 150 camels, they are considered what? Without a question. It's a lot of animals. Tayyib, let alone how much it costs to feed those animals and take care of them and look after them. Now, moving forward. Faslun fi zakat al-baqar. Now, cows. What is the zakat of cows? ويجب في 30 من البقر تبيع أو تبيعة وفي كل 40 مسنة ثم كذلك. Cows is much easier, or the fiqh of cows is much easier than the fiqh of the camels, because obviously the Arabs had more camels than they had actually what? Cows. And this goes to show you the effect of culture upon fiqh. They dealt with camels more than what? Cows. In America, it's obviously going to be different. The culture of the cowboy, long horns, the steer, right? People have more cows than they have what? Camels. So if you're a wealthy man in Texas and you have a ranch and you have 100 cows, 200 bulls, 50 this, 50 that, you're going to need to know the fiqh of what? Cows more than the fiqh of camels. Everyone understand this? But if you live in Somalia or Pakistan or Yemen, dealing with camels is going to be what? A bit different. Tayyib. Moving forward. He says, so the nisab, that's the first step. Islam is the what? Nisab. The nisab. The minimum, and not the what? Maximum, the minimum. He says the minimum of cows is 30. That's the nisab. So if you have 20 cows, no zakat is due. If you have 28 cows, no zakat is due. It's only mandatory when you have what? 30 of them. And you must give a male or a female, which is called a tabi' or tabi'ah. In the footnotes, it says التبيع من أولاد البقر ما كان في أول سنة قاله في النيل وقال الأزهري يسمى تبيعا حين يستكمل الحول ولا يسمى تبيعا قبل ذلك وسمي تبيعا لأنه يتبع أمه فهو فعيل بمعنى فاعل. فوائد في اللغة, benefits pertaining to the Arabic language, fa'il, which means fa'il. When you study the awzan as-sarfiyah, al-awzan as-sarfiyah, fa'il, fa'ulun, mutafa'il, mustaf'il, you gotta study the scales, right? He said you gotta read the what? The labels. Everyone understand this? The scales. The al-awzan as-sarfiyah, the word tabi' is on the scale of what? Fa'il, but it means fa'il. So the tabi' is the cow, which is a baby cow, a baby calf, 1 year old. It's only 1 year old. And the reason why it's called tabi' because it follows around its mother. Still following its mother around. It's a baby calf connected to its mother, whether it's suckling or not. You understand this? So when you have 30 cows, you have to give a what? A baby calf. Male or female. Clear on this? And then it includes, or now it stays the same, 31, 32, 33, no zakat is due until you reach 40. 40. Once you have 40 cows, you now must give a cow which is older and more mature. And that's the cow which is called musinna, a heifer, musinna. And the musinna, al-baqaratu wa-shatu yaqa'u alayhima isma al-musin, إذ أثنيا وتثنيان في السنة الثالثة وليس معنى إثناننا كبرها كالرجل المسن ولكن معناه طلوع سنها في الثالثة. Is basically the cow that is entered into the 3rd year. It's the cow that's in its what? 3rd year. It says in the footnotes here that this word is also used for sheep. A shah. It's used for sheep. But let's simplify things and just talk about giving another cow. So the cow has to be at least how old? Going on 3. And that's obviously a game. How old are you? Are you 33 going on 34? Or are you 34 going on what? Everyone understand this? Because when you're born, you become 1. How age works. Al-Muhim is that it's entered into its what? 3rd year. That is due. That's the zakat due on 40 cows, right? ثم كذلك, then he says so on and so forth. In the footnotes, أي ثم هكذا العمل فمثلا لو كان لشخص 70 بقرة ففيها تبيع ومسنة وفي 80 مسنتان, which means that if a person has 70 cows, how much zakat is due? 2. What age? 2 going on 3? He says tabi'un wa musinnatun. If a person has 70, 1 cow of 1 year and 1 cow of 3 years. Why is that? Because it's a combination. 70 is a combination of what? 40 and 30. Clear on that? So if he has 80 cows, how many? What does he have to pay? 2 musinna. It says here, وَفِي الثَّمَانِينَ مُسِنَّتَانِ وَهَكَذا. Exactly. So odd versus even. So if he has 160 cows, how many? 4 musinnas. Correct or incorrect? All right, we have 80. How many is due? 160? 4. But let's say he had 140. 2 musinnas and you understand? So this is just the beginning. Everybody clear on this? And it's important for everyone to understand what? The basics of how zakat works with regards to animals. Moving forward. فصل في زكاة الغنم ويجب في 40 من الغنم شاة إلى 121 وفيها شاتان إلى 201 وفيها 3 شياه إلى 301 وفيها 4 ثم في كل 100 شاه. As far as sheep / goats, sheep, etc., he says then the nisab is 40. 40. So you can have 30 animals, no zakat is due. 28 animals, 29 animals, no is what? He says the nisab is how many? 40. That's the basic minimum. 40 sheep / goat. Once you have 40, you must give 1 sheep, a shah. You must give 1. And this goes from 40 up until 121. Or to 120, let's say. 40 to what? 120. Once you reach 121, now you have to pay what? 2 sheep. You have to do what? 2 sheep. It wasn't 80, but he said what? 120. Pay attention to the jumping number. That's the most important number, is when it what? Go back. What's the minimum? 40. It is not 82. You don't have to pay 2 until you have how many? 120. It says mi'atin wa ihda wa ishrin. You have 121, exactly, Islam. 121, now you must pay what? 2 sheep. So it's not 40, 40, 80. 40 all the way up until what? 121. Then he says, إِلَى مِئَتَيْنِ وَوَاحِدَةٍ. When you have 201 sheep, you must give 3. ثلاث شياه. 3 sheep are due. إِلَى 301. If you have 301, you now give what? 4, the jumping number. And then after you've reached 301, it is an additional 100 sheep. You now must give a what? An additional what? Sheep. So we see that everyone is different. Cows, camels, sheep, and goat are not, it's not just arithmetic. You have to actually what? Hifd of it. Obviously this fiqh matan is based off of the hadiths. It's based off of the what? The hadiths, in which the Prophet ﷺ mandated the zakah. In which he did what? Mandated the zakah. Everybody with me or not? Moving forward. He says, فَصْلٌ فِي أَحْكَامِ زَكَاةِ بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ. Now he deals with general principles and rules. Not counting and converting. General rules and principles for all animals. Number 1. He says, وَلَا يُجْمَعُ بَيْنَ مُتَفَرِّقٍ أو مُفْتَرِقٍ هكذا ضبطه من الأنعام. He says, لا يُجْمَعُ. You cannot combine between 2 different animals. There's no mixing and matching. He says there's no what? Mixing and matching. 10 sheep, 10 goats. It's none of that. 2 things which are different are separate. They're what? They're separate. There's no mixing and what? Matching. وَلَا يُفَرَّقُ بَيْنَ مُجْتَمِعٍ خَشْيَةَ الصَّدَقَةِ. Nor should a person split things which are equal out of fear of paying zakat. Out of fear of paying zakat, ducking zakat. What does this mean? It says here in the footnotes, معنى الجمع بين مفترق أن يكون النفر الثلاثة لكل واحد منهم 40 شاة قد وجب فيها إذا لم يجمعوها على كل واحدة شاة فيجمعونها حتى لا يجب عليهم كلهم فيها إلا شاة واحدة. As far as putting things which don't match, then we have 3 people, Khalid. We have how many people? Each of those 3 people have what? 40 sheep. We're neighbors. We're neighbors. We have each of us have what? 40 sheep. How much does the cat do? A sheep on every one. So let's just put our sheep together and we only have to pay 120 sheep is how much?
2 sheep.
From one thing, what? طيب. So that's, you can't do that. You can't just put your stuff together the way it's only one thing, right? All right? Trying to trick the system, huh? طيب. Everybody clear on this or not? طيب. Moving forward. He says, وَأَمَّا التَّفْرِيقُ بَيْنَ مُجْتَمِعٍ فأن يكون لرجلين 100 شاة وشاة فيكون عليهما فيها 3 شياه فيفرقونها حتى لا يكون على كل واحد منهما إلا شاة واحدة فنهوا عن ذلك كله. It says here, as far as splitting things which are together, then we have أن يكون لرجلين 100 شاة وشاة. 2 men have 201 sheep. فيكون عليهم فيها 3 شياه. They have to pay how much now? 3 sheep. They had a what? They have to pay. So what do? They split them up. And then it's only how much is obligatory? Islam. The sheep.
Meaning each person splits the sheep up.
Tight. Listen carefully once more. We've explained the first concept, right? Now, with the first concept, which is to do what?
To combine. Don't combine.
Combine or remove? Combine. The second one is to do what? To split up. Listen carefully. The editor or the footnote maker, he says, وَأَمَّا التَّفْرِيقُ بَيْنَ مُجْتَمِعٍ فَأَنْ يَكُونَ لِرَجُلَيْنِ 100 شاة وشاة. For 2 men to have what? 201 sheep. فَيَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمَا فِيهَا 3 شِيَاه. How many sheep are due in the zakat? 3. So what do? They split them up. So they only have to pay what? 2. 1 and 1. They're being cheap and avoiding paying an extra sheep. Everybody clear on this? Tight. Moving forward. It says here, وَلَا شَيْءَ فِي مَا دُونَ الْفَرِيضَةِ. And there's nothing which is obligatory if it is beneath the faridah. And the faridah is meaning what? The nisab. No zakat due under the what? Under the nisab. No matter how big and fat the animals may be. طيب. ولا في الأوقاص وهي ما بين النصابين مثل 6 من الإبل و7 و8 و9 فما زاد بعد الخمس إلى 9 فهو وقص. Nor is there anything due on that which is called awqas. Awqas is the plural of waqs. And the waqs is that which is between the two. Between 2 nisabs. It's between 2 what? 2 nisabs. It says in the footnotes, such as 6 camels, 7, 8, or 9. How does that make sense? 6, 7, 8, or 9? 5 is the minimum. For how much is due on 5 camels? A camel is due? A sheep. Then it goes from 5 to what? 10? 10 or 25. Big differences, lamb. What does it go to? What does it jump from? Only 10. 15. 10 camels. Hanan Aslam. Where's the jump? Let's go back and read again. Our memory has betrayed us. Listen carefully, Islam. Everyone listen. It says, إِذَا بَلَغَتِ الْإِبْلُ خَمْسًا فَفِيهَا شَاتٌ. One sheep for how many camels? 5. ثُمَّ فِي كُلِّ خَمْسٍ شَاتٌ. Each additional 5 camels, there's another sheep. So the number which wasn't mentioned, but it is what? 10. Right? So the waqs is what? 6, 7, 8, and 9. There's no zakat due on anything from what? 6 to what? 9. The zakat was due on what? 5. If you have 4, there's what? No zakat. So it doesn't make sense now. One may say, how can you avoid giving 2 now? I only have 9 camels. She didn't give birth this year. From 6 to what? 9. There's no extra zakat except for 1 sheep. And that 1 sheep is not because of 9. It's only because of 5. It's in the middle. It's in a gap between 2 jumps. You with me? Everybody with me or not? No. Moving forward. He says here, فَمَا زَادَ بَعْضَ الْخَمْسِ إِلَى التِّسْعِ فَهُوَ وَقْصٌ. The awqas, as we said, is from 6 to 9. No zakat is due until you reach 10. And then you give us second one. طيب. Even though you're closer to 10. It makes sense for you to have to give 2 sheep. You have 9 of them. But no, it's only what? 1 sheep that's due. And this goes to show you that it doesn't always have to be about the number. It's about the precise number. Are you understanding this? I only have 9 of them. I'm only going to pay what? 1. It doesn't have to stop exactly on the mark, is what I meant to say. The number doesn't have to stop what? On the mark, because that's not real life. There's no guarantee that you'll only have 5 camels. There's no guarantee, right? You may have 6 or 7, or you may have 4. There is no guarantee of how many camels you're going to keep. One may die, etc. Are you understand this or not? So if you're not going to exactly always fall directly on a specific number, then it only makes sense in the Sharia to be based off of the specific number. Everybody with me or not? And this is called the waqs. Number 3, he says, وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ خَلِيطَيْنِ فَيَتَرَاجَعَانِ بِالسَّوِيَّةِ. He says, in anything which is khalitain, 2 mixtures, then they go back to that which is sawiyah, that which is equal. This means, surah ذلك أن يكون بين الخليطين 40 شاة مثلا لكل واحد منهما 20 شاة قد عرف كل منهما عين ماله فيأخذ المصدق من أحدهما شاة فيرجع المأخوذ من ماله على صاحبه بقيمة نصف شاة. وهذا على أن مجرد خلط الشريكين لملكيهما يسيرهما بمنزلة الماشية المملوكة لرجل واحد والحق كما دلت على ذلك الأدلة وانظر الفتح. He says this means, stay with me, Alameen. We have 2 partners. Me and you both we share a farm together. And we have 40 sheep. I have 20 and you have what? 20. I have 20 and you have what? How many sheep are due? He says nothing. What do you say? Nothing. What do you say, Lutfi? Khalid. It can't give a sheep each because it's not enough for 2 sheep. Whose sheep does it come from? Mine's or his? Why is it fair that I have to give and not him, or vice versa? Abdul-Raqib, what's the answer? What's the antidote? Alameen gives a sheep from his 20. And this is only done when I know what's what and who's who. I have my 20 sheep. I know what that's the brown one, the black one, this one, the spotted one, the jumpy one, the one with the limp. I know my sheep. He knows what? He knows his sheep, but we're together. So technically only 1 sheep is due. But that's unfair for only 1 person to have to pay a sheep. So therefore he pays a sheep and then I'll do what? I'll break him off with the cost of half of a sheep. Everyone understand this? So no one is wronged. He have give a whole animal. I just do what? Take half the money. Everybody clear on this? Even if it's more painful for him to give a whole animal. I raised this animal. My kids used to play with it. I'm just giving them money. Everybody understand this? Because this is something which is also very possible for people to have a farm, which is what? A joint farm. Tayyib, moving forward. Tayyib. Now, obviously, there's another issue here when we talk about partnerships. Just because people have a mixture of wealth doesn't mean that it takes the place of one specific animal. The author takes that view. Moving forward. وَلَا تُؤْخَذُ هَرِمَةٌ. A very old animal, aged, is not to be given for zakah. So the musaddiq, he comes, he's going to come and he's going to say, well, he has, you have 120, you have 65, whatever the case may be. And you come, he says, here, take this one. And it's old, he says, no, I can't take that one. Give me that one. The younger one, the more energetic one. Everyone understand this? But he's not supposed to take the most what? Precious of the animals. But what? In between. But definitely not an animal that's too old. Everyone understand this? You can't give that as sadaqah. وَلَا ذَاتُ عِوَارٍ أو عِوَارٍ. He says here, الهرمة الكبيرة التي قد سقطت أسنانها وذات العوار أو العوار قيل هي العوراء وقيل المعيبة. Some say it's the animal that's blind, partially blind, fully blind, or it has a major problem with it. It's sick, it's missing something, its ear is cut off, it's missing a hoof or something like this. Those animals cannot be given. وَلَا عَيْبٍ. He says, nor any animal which has an aib. Anything which is what? Considered to be a major default, a major blemish among people who are experts with these animals. Everyone understand this? Something is wrong with this one. It still can be eaten. It still has some usage, but this is not perfect. It's damaged. Everyone understand this is what? It's damaged. وَلَا صَغِيرًا. Nor an animal which is too young. The animal cannot be too young. وَلَا أَكُولَةٌ. Nor any animal which is called akula, meaning a fat animal. A fat, plump animal is not to be taken. Why shouldn't it be taken? It's precious. They keep feeding it and making it plump, huh? Sameenain, remember that? One lesson leads to another. We said this, right? On the Eid of al-Adha, he says, I want some sameenain for dinner. So the animal which is considered to be plump is not plump by accident. It's plump because the people are what? They're feeding it for a nice roast, a nice banquet. My son is getting married. I have offered such and such. They have offered such and such. This will be the feast tonight. He's not supposed to take the what? The animal which is what? Too big. Because it's what? It's precious. How you say what? It's precious. Moving forward. He says, وَلَا رُبَّا وهي الشاة التي تربى في البيت للبنها. وقال أبو محمد بن قدامة قال أحمد الربة التي وضعت وهي تربي ولدها. Nor are you allowed to take a rubba. And a rubba has one or two meanings. The first is the animal which is used for its milk. It's kept in the house or close to the house for its milk. And the obvious reasons, because the people that are drinking from it, they need that. It's nourishment for them. And secondly is the animal that has just given birth and it is raising its young children. It's raising its what? Its young children. وَلَا مَاخِضٌ. Nor an animal which is pregnant. Cannot take a mother. Cannot take an animal that is with child. As they say, right? I am with child, right? طيب. وَلَا فَحْلُ غَنَمٍ. وهو الذي ينزو عليها لأن المالك يحتاج إليه وإن لم يكن من الخيار. Nor are they allowed to take the stud animal, the animal that is used to mate. They're not allowed to take that one because it's considered to be precious and the owner needs it to impregnate the other ones. طيب. So these are some of the basic principles and basic rules, not with regards to numbers or amounts, but descriptions of the what? Animals. And this goes to show you the wisdom of the Sharia and the mercy of the Sharia. Wisdom, it doesn't make sense to take this one. It's not right to take one of poor quality, nor do you take something that the people have what? It's a special place in their heart. They need this. This is my bread and my butter. I need this animal to produce more, to do this. My children are connected to it. It's in the house. It's a little baby, so on and so forth. Everyone understand this? And obviously, this is just the beginning. And this is anything in the Sharia. Any issue that we're discussing is always going to be based off of wisdom, and it's always going to be based off of mercy. Anything. Marriage, divorce, slavery, jihad, punishments. It's always based off of wisdom and rahmah. And it's never meant as a means to just break people and break their backs and destroy them and ruin them. Abadan. It's always a means of submission to Allah and His Messenger, manifesting your worship, and a means of rahmah to the people. And there's nothing in the Sharia which is going to go against sound logic and common sense. Abadan. Everyone understand this or not? Everybody clear on this or not? Khairan, inshallah. Next chapter, he says, Babu zakat al-dhahabi wal-fiddah. Now the zakat that is due on gold and silver. The zakat that's due on what? Gold and silver. And obviously, or perhaps this would be the most important issue of us today. Of us what? Today. The money, the cheese, the cream. Everyone understand this? I don't have no farm mufti. I don't care about sheep and goats. I don't have no camels in my backyard. But I got that what? That stash. The cards, right? The riba accounts. The shoe houses, the shoe boxes, the dog houses. The money, right? The gold and silver. So the gold and silver perhaps is going to be the most common issue that the people are going to need with regards to zakat today. People that work, people that save money. I'm saving for my son to get married. I'm saving for my son to go to college. I'm saving for my daughter to get married. I'm saving for this house. I'm saving for my vacation. I'm saving for Hajj. I'm saving. So the money that's put up, that's saved, that's stashed away, now you're going to have to pay close attention to that. And obviously, inshallah, it's going to be easier than the other issues with animals. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. He says here, هي إذا حال على أحدهما الحول ربع العشر ونصاب الذهب 20 دينارا. First and foremost, the first condition of paying zakat on gold and silver is that you have to have the gold and silver for a year. It has to be held for a year. So if you have for 10 months, 11 months, 11 and a half months, 9 months, 8 months, there's no what? No zakat that is due. It has to be a year in which you have the gold and silver sitting there. Number two, it has to be, with regards to gold, at least 20 dinar. 20 dinar. So if you have 19 dinar, 18 dinar, then there's no what? No zakat that is due. And obviously, one's money is a bit different than animals. Whereas this money is the money which is not needed for your day-to-day life. You may need this animal in your day-to-day life. It's time to give it up if you have a certain amount. All right? I have 40, I have 70, I have 100, but this is the one that I use to... It's not the most precious, and it fits the description. You have to do what? You have to give it up. But the money is not pertaining to your bills. It's not pertaining to rent, gas money. It's not pertaining to the things that you need that are a necessity. But the money which is being saved, and you can live and survive for a year without what? Touching it. Your yearly savings. Even if it's for Hajj, marriage, retirement, and anything else. Retirement has nothing to do with your day-to-day life. Everyone understand this? And many people, they make a mistake and they get it wrong. It's impermissible. You have to pay zakat on the money that you're saving for your son to get married. And it's not a lot of money. It's not going to break your bank. It's not going to take everything. It's just a small percentage. But getting married on a day-to-day basis is not a necessity. On a day-to-day basis, I said. And would you have enough money to save up for a year? Retirement on a day-to-day basis is not a what? It's not a necessity. On a day-to-day basis, I said. In the long term, yes, but not on a day-to-day basis. So whatever you're putting that money up for a year, you must pay zakat on it, if it reaches the nisab. And obviously in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the people that use gold and silver. Who or what people or what is used today with regards to gold and silver? That's a very long discussion. That's a very long discussion. And if the people are not using gold and silver today, then what is the equivalent? Or what isn't the equivalent? So many of the ulama today, if not the vast majority of them, especially nowadays, they say that dollar bills take the place of what? Gold and silver. But when banknotes and bills came about, it was difference of opinion. A good difference of opinion. They differed. And many of them held the view that these banknotes, these bills, are not the same as gold and silver, and they do not apply. Everyone understand this? Everybody clear on this or not? Then obviously it's a very long discussion, and we don't want to be getting or be called or get into conspiracy theories and things like this. But the whole concept of the Federal Reserve Bank, the government, is gold and silver behind dollar bills. The things that are on the dollar bill, what does it represent? What is the money worth? How much is the money worth? That's a very long discussion. The history of banks and the history of interest and the history of loaning. It's a very long discussion with regards to religion, politics, history. Everyone understand this? So we don't want to go too far. What's important is keep things simple now. Dollar bills are gold and silver. For now. For what? For now. Let's keep it simple. That the dollar bills that we have, or the euros, or the pounds, or whatever, are what? That's the dinar, and that's the what? Dirham. To keep things simple, to simplify things. Right? It says in the footnotes here, the muhashi, the annotator, he says, اعلم أنه قد كثر الكلام في تقدير النصاب بالأوراق النقدية القائمة مقام الذهب والفضة لكن تنبه إلى مسائل. He says there's a lot of speech regarding estimating the worth of these dollar bills or these bills with regards to gold and silver, like we just said, right? A few issues that he mentions here. أن العلماء قدروا الدينار والدرهم بحبة الشعير قالوا يزن الدينار 72 حبة متوسطة. طيب, what is the dinar? How much is the dinar? How much is the dirham? That's also a very long discussion. All right, Kuwaiti dinar, this, that. That's a very long discussion. All right, dirham, a very long discussion. We don't want to get into that right now. All right, moving forward. ونصاب الفضة 100 درهم ولا شيء فيما دون ذلك. And the nisab of silver is 200 dirham. 200 dirham. 20 dinar and what? 200 dirham. And there's no zakat that is due anything beneath this amount. Anything that's what? Beneath this amount. ولا زكاة في غيرهما من الجواهر وأموال التجارة والمستغلات. The author he then says, and there is no zakat due on any other jewels, diamonds, rubies, emeralds. He said there's what? No zakat, no matter how expensive and precious they may be. Everyone understand this? This is the author's view. No matter how expensive they are, he says what? No zakat. Stop and think about that. You may have diamonds that cost 10 times more than gold. He says what? No zakat. He then says, وَأَمْوَالِ التِّجَارَةِ, and any commercial merchandise, there is what? No zakat. No zakat on any commercial merchandise. That's the view of the author, rahimahullah ta'ala. Wal mustaghallat, or mustaghallat, he says, كالدور التي يؤجر أو يؤجر أو يؤجرها مالكها وكذلك الدواب ونحوها. He says here, and things which are used, such as buildings that you rent out. Buildings that you rent out, no zakat are due on those buildings. He says, or animals that a person what? Rents out, not uses. Renting out, leasing out. Everyone understand this? So that's the end of that chapter. Before we go into those things, how do we estimate and calculate the worth? No questions. The worth and the amount of gold and silver, 20, 200, with regards to dollar bills today. What do we do? What do we do? Fadal. How? The question is crystal clear. I believe, in my humble opinion, the question is what? Crystal clear. How do we calculate it? How much money do you have to have in your bank, or under your bed, or behind your painting, or wherever you keep it, in your freezer? Huh? $3,000. You say $3,000. Where are you getting that number from? Islam Q&A? Alhamdulillah. La ba's. Where are they getting that number from? It has to be conversion. It has to be a conversion. Okay. The weight of gold. What is considered to be the amount of 20 dinar? How much weight of gold is 20 dinar? Or 200 dirham of silver? So hypothetically speaking, how many ounces? How many troy ounces? He says 4 ounces. So what is the cost of 4 ounces today in the international gold market? And obviously that can become a sticky issue because of different markets and there are different types of gold. And many people, no doubt, they feel that the gold in their country is superior to all other gold, such as Guyana. The brother, he said, is fake gold if it's not from Guyana. Then you got a brother from Panama. Then there's someone comes from India. And they say, we have the best gold in the world. All other gold is fake. In other countries you go to, you may marry a sister in a country, and she says, I don't want gold from this country. It has to be gold from what? The Gulf. That's where the real gold is. And people have said things like this. Not, we have the best gold, we have, no. That our gold is the only genuine gold in the whole entire world. The ghulu, extremism. In all aspects of life. You have gulatis. Tell you, everybody understand this or not? So with that being said, who's gold? But let's say, for example, he says 4 ounces of gold. So let's say we take a general amount in the gold market. In general, 4 ounces of gold. He says, how much you going to have to pay for that? $4,000. So roughly, this is all hypothetical, I have $4,500 in my account, or under my bed, or wherever it's hidden, under the minbar. So where is the riches? The riches is under the throne. Indeed. We said, where's the silver? Right? So I have $4,500 saved up, right? And I have it for 12 months. I now have to pay rubul ushur, a fourth of a tenth. A fourth of a tenth. A quarter of a tenth, which is 2.5. So $4,500. I have to pay 2.5 of that. How much is that? The easy way to calculate it is divide 4,500 by 40. And my sum will be what? Come on, you guys are powerful minds. I was always poor at math. Yalla. Use the phone. Yalla. For the sake of Allah, Yaqi. Say it, Yaqi. How much? $112. Let's say $113 to be safe. Or to even be safer than that, the people that you drop off in your cab, or the lady that you flirt with at the job, or the Christmas lights in the place in which you work at, Let's keep it real. You're going to give $120. You're going to give extra. You're going to give extra zakat. You're going to do what? Extra zakat. Because there are haram elements included in most jobs. Even if the job isn't haram itself, the product isn't haram, the service isn't haram, but I said what? Haram elements. Things in which you unfortunately have no choice but to be around and be involved with. Nah? So you're going to pay $120. $120 from $4,500. Does that hurt your stack or your stash of money? It's a trifle. It's not a lot of money. You may spend that going in a nice restaurant. You may spend that at a sushi bar. Right? Literally, without any exaggeration. Everyone understand this? You may take your wife out for dinner. You may pay that much money. Allahu alam. Depends on how you're rolling, Lutfi. There are wise and then there's what? Otherwise. Like that. Make her pay for the bill. Allah al-Mustan, yaqi. See how many, right? Tell you. So that's going to be the zakat that you have to pay. Everyone understand this? You're going to pay how much? 100 and what? At least 100 and what we say? 112? 115. 112. I went from 112 to 120 as safety. Let alone forget the haram elements in your job. The concept of you may not be exactly exact. Give or take a couple of dollars. So 120. So $120 is due from $4,500 after 12 years of the money being put to the what? To the side, away. Nothing to do with your gas, tolls, electric, internet, this bill, data, etc. Everybody understand this? Huh? 12 months. 12 months. Everyone understand this? 12 months. 1 year. Everybody clear on this or not? طيب. So with that being said, the $120 came from what? 4 ounces of gold. And the 4 ounces of gold came from? How many? That's how we come up with the numbers. That's how we what? Come up with the numbers. Give or take. Silver. 200 dirham of silver. How much? How many ounces of silver? We want to stop here tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Hopefully in our next class we will continue the discussion on the zakat and the modern way of applying these ancient rulings. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.